2021 Science and Technology Laureate, Dr. Carla Phillips Savage. Dr. Carla Phillips Savage is a veterinary surgeon, clinician, and university lecturer at the UWI St. Augustine, who has made an invaluable contribution to aquatic animal health in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. Dr. Savage is a leader in aquaponics, aquatic food farming, and coordinates the medical management, rehabilitation, and release of endangered or protected sea turtles in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have a million of these things. I've had to start giving them away, actually. These guys were actually in my office for many years. In 1984, my mom took me to Walt Disney World in Florida for my 6th birthday. We also went to Texas. And while we were walking through the flea market, we came to a booth. The cashier just threw some stickers into the bag. One of the stickers said, "Pets need vets." We came back home to Trinidad after the trip, and I stuck it up on my bedroom closet. And it stayed there until I was probably almost 30. 1989, and I was 11 years old. I just passed common entrance, passed for my first choice. I was happy and whatnot, and Mom took me to Disney World again. We went to SeaWorld, and that was the first time that I saw Shamu. And I was enthralled. So that's when I was like, I love orcas. I want to be a killer whale trainer. But I never really thought about the logistics or the practicality of it. I just thought it was fantastic. I loved these animals. They were charismatic, beautiful. I just loved them. And that's where the aquatics bug bit me. At 18, started university and ultimately selected veterinary medicine because there was nowhere to train killer whales in Trinidad. So let's do something with animals, because at the time, aquatic medicine was not something that was known, at least certainly not in the Caribbean. I didn't even know that that was an option. The clinician said, "Don't you have to do a research project?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you have this idea, you want to do something with shrimp." And I'm like, okay, sure. No clue that had anything to do with vet med. So it ended up being the very first aquatics project that a student ever attempted. It actually ended up being the top project of that year. Fast forward a couple years, I had started my master's, and I did my master's in food animal medicine, large animal medicine actually, and that's where I thought I would stay. In determining what would I do my PhD in, the acting director of the vet school at the time, he sat me down and said, "Okay, what are you planning to do this PhD? And you're now finishing up your master's in large animal medicine." I said, "Well, I'm going to continue." And I was going to do it in large animal or ruminant theriogenology, which is reproductive medicine. It's like, okay, that's great. But didn't you always like that aquatics thing? And I was like, yeah. He's like, "So why don't you do that?" I'm like, "Do that where?" And University of Florida liked my application, and I got in there. And literally a whole new world opened up to me. My single most notable achievement would be having been given the opportunity to introduce aquatic medicine to the veterinary curriculum at the School of Vet Med.
Dr. Phillips says this is a major feat, and she's proud that all the work was done by locals.
Today feels fantastic. We're able to have the first release of, I should say, the first successful rehabilitation, not so successful, the first rehab of a loggerhead sea turtle in Trinidad and Tobago. And she took to the water, and it's such a gratifying feeling.
Our 2021 Joint Laureate in Science and Technology is Dr. Ayana Carla Phillips Savage, and her husband, Mr. Lorenzo Savage II, will receive her award.
It is certainly a motivator to keep going, and I'm happy that the work that I do, people have recognized the importance of it, because it's something that people don't often give a second thought to. They don't necessarily realize that there is a connection between human health, animal health, and environmental health. There is such a thing as environmental health as well. So I'm immensely grateful, not just for the accolade or for the recognition, but for the resource that it's providing to continue my professional growth as well. So it's an absolute blessing in many regards. So I'm just thrilled.